Please welcome the President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden, Jr., accompanied by United States Representative and House Majority Whip James E. Clyburn.
Will the platform participants please be seated? Audience, please be seated. President Joseph Biden, Congressman James E. Clyburn, members of the Board of Trustees, President Conyers, other distinguished guests, platform participants, faculty, staff, students, alumni, parents, and guardians, graduates, ladies and gentlemen, it is a great day in Orangeburg, South Carolina. And certainly a great day at South Carolina State University. This morning we celebrate the hard work of our graduates who are seated before us. In order to maintain the dignity of this momentous occasion for our students and their families, we request that all cell phones be turned off or placed on a silent mode. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to introduce the presiding officer for this commencement exercise, our hard-working and visionary president, Colonel Alexander Conyers.
Ladies and gentlemen, will you please stand for the posting of the colors and remain standing for the national anthem and the Black national anthem.
Yes, yes.
Good morning, South Carolina State University, family and friends. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, faculty, staff, students, and alumni, I'm delighted to welcome you to the Fall 2021 Commencement Convocation. We are honored that you, our graduating class, chose South Carolina State University to further your education, and we thank the parents and families for entrusting your loved ones to our beloved institution. The Reverend Eddie C. Williams, pastor of Trinity United Methodist Church, Orangeburg, will give the scripture and invocation. That will be followed by greetings from Mr. Rodney Jenkins, chairman of the Board of Trustees, and Ms. Giovanni Ayers, the president of our Student Government Association. Following that, we will have a selection by our South Carolina State Choral Ensemble.
Let's pray. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, pour out your spirit upon the President of the United States of America, his cabinet, the President of South Carolina State University, the Board of Trustees, faculty, teachers, and administrators. 158 years after Jefferson declared that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Lord, we ask that you would send forth this class to be like Moses, to address Red Sea experiences. Let them not grow weary in preparing to create a brighter horizon for the needs of humanity. Lord, grant them favor, wisdom, and strength to persevere. We come to this place with different background, diverse, but all going out to make this world better. Lord, make us to realize that education must continue beyond the halls of South Carolina State University, so that goodness must excel, and days at South Carolina State University are not in vain. We pray this day in your name, for it is in the name of your Son, Jesus the Christ, we pray. And all God's children said, amen.
Good morning with bulldog tenacity. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I am delighted to welcome everyone to the 2021 Fall Commencement Convocation of South Carolina State University. The Board is honored to welcome the President of the United States, Joseph R. Biden, with us today. Mr. President, your presence here today is historical for our beloved university. So thank you. Also, the board welcomes home our loyal son, Congressman James E. Clyburn, to this historic meeting. President Biden, Congressman Clyburn, Interim President Conyers, faculty and staff, ladies and gentlemen, parents, and graduates. The board is truly proud of the accomplishments of today's graduates. Graduates, we express our sincerest wish for your success as you navigate the world of the 21st century with all the potential and perils. Most of all, we challenge you to be of service to mankind and to remember your alma mater as you go out and do much good in the world. Congratulations to the class of 2021. May God bless everyone, and may God bless South Carolina State University. Thank you, and good morning again.
Good morning, Bulldogs. Greetings to President Biden, Congressman Clyburn, elected officials, the Board of Trustee members, Interim President and Lady Conyers, faculty, staff, and most importantly, the reason we are here today, the fall class of 2021. This is an historic occasion. Having the opportunity to receive an encouraging message from the President of the United States and to witness the U.S. House Majority Whip walk across the stage with the fall class of 2021 is indeed an honor. I am Devani Ayers, and I humbly serve as the Student Government Association President for this academic school year. It is indeed an honor to congratulate and commend the fall class of 2021 on the job well done. Whether you're transitioning to your careers, graduate school, the military, or wherever the good Lord leads you, we hope and pray that you carry and display the Bulldog tenacity and pride instilled in you during your matriculation within these groves and classic halls. In the words of Dr. Matthew L. Stevenson III, great men and women are only born for the time that they are needed the most. Graduates, please remember, your families need you, your friends need you, our community needs you, but most importantly, this world needs you. To our loyal sons and daughters, on behalf of the student body, we salute you for this momentous accomplishment. God bless and hail, hail.
Thank you to the Choral Ensemble. Huge thanks to the 282nd Army Band from Fort Jackson, South Carolina for filling in for us on short notice. As most of you know, our band is in Atlanta, so thank you very much for being a part of this community. Thank you to our ROTC cadets for posting of the colors, Chairman Jenkins, and our great SGA President, Ms. Ayers. At this time, it is my honor and privilege to ask the Honorable Congressman James E. Clyburn to introduce South Carolina State University's Fall 2021 Commencement Speaker.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, Chairman of the Board of Trustees and members of the board, administrators, faculty, students, congratulations. Now, when I was growing up over in Sumter, my dad used to say to me all the time that the first sign of a good education is good manners. So, I want all the members of this class to show how well educated you are, stand and say thank you to your parents, your guardians, whoever foot that bill every month for you to be here. Stand up and say thank you. Secondly, I want to say to the graduates here today that when you start out on your life's journey, you will not always get it right. I want all of you to remember what your parents and guardians said to you time and time again. If at first you don't succeed, try and try again. Now, when I got elected to Congress, I had already lost 3 times. And a friend of mine said to me, "What are you going to do now?" You know what they say, 3 strikes and you out. I said to my friend, that's the baseball rule. And nobody should live their lives by baseball rules. So I want to say to you, graduates, no matter how many times you attempt, you keep trying until you get it right. Don't give up. Now, thirdly, I want to say to you that don't be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. You know, a lot of us are limited in what we do because we want to be comfortable throughout the whole process. I've been telling the story recently of Thomas Edison. Thomas Edison is credited with having invented the light bulb. And that's true. But he couldn't get it to work right. He was not able to get that light bulb to work right until he went up to Massachusetts and sat down with a young man named Lewis Latimer. Lewis Latimer was the son of former slaves. His parents had escaped from slavery to Boston, Massachusetts. But Lewis Latimer had invented something called a filament. And someone said to Thomas Edison, you know, you might be able to get that light bulb to work right if you get outside of your comfort zone, go up to Massachusetts and sit down with this black guy named Lewis Latimer and get that filament that he has invented, and you might be able to get the light bulb to work. Thomas Edison did that. Both he and Lewis Latimer got outside of their comfort zones, and they have lit the world. So I want to say to each and every one of you, I matriculated here 64 years ago, this past September. Also in that class was my late wife, who came to this campus in a pickup truck. Her family didn't own the car. She had a footlocker on the bed of that pickup truck. And she came to this campus from a little 22-acre farm in Berkeley County. I don't know what was expected of her, but I know what she did. She came across a little wayward guy from Sumter, South Carolina, and turned him into a United States congressman. So there's no limit. Not only did she do that, but not long before she passed away, a little over 2 years ago, she said to me, if we want to succeed in this upcoming election, we had better nominate Joe Biden. She passed away before the South Carolina primary. But what she said to me that night stayed on my mind. And when I looked among those 20-some-odd candidates running for the Democratic nomination, several of whom were very close friends of ours, I remembered what she said to me. And I followed her directions, just as I had for the 58 years that we were married. And so several weeks ago, I was sitting out having lunch with the new president. And he said to me, President Conyers said, I know the story of your having not marched. Why don't you consider coming and marching with the class of 2021 to celebrate the 60th anniversary of your having finished your coursework? I told him I would consider doing so. He said, and by the way, I would like for you to march and give the commencement address. I told him I would look into it. But I had something else in mind. And I went to my friend, Cedric Richmond, who is here today, with whom I'd served in Congress, and I told Cedric, I said, Cedric, I'm going to be marching the class of 2021 to get my diploma, which I never got. Now, I want you to help me get the speaker for the commencement. I didn't tell him that I had already agreed to do it. I said, I think it would be great for me to get my degree from the President of the United States, Joe Biden. And Cedric told me he would look into it. Well, when we reached out to Joe Biden, he immediately accepted. And I'm told that the proper way to introduce the President of the United States is by simply saying, ladies and gentlemen, the President of the United States.
Mr. President, distinguished faculty, I learned a long time ago that if you wanted to get anything done with Jim, you went to his wife. All kidding aside, the story Jim tells is absolutely accurate. I got what we call in my old neighborhood in Claymont, Delaware, I got shellacked in the first two primaries. And I kept saying, I'm waiting to go to South Carolina. No, I mean it sincerely, because I come from a state that has the 8th largest African-American population, and that's the source of all my support in Delaware, for real. And I got down here, and things were moving pretty slow. And I remember Miss Emily saying to me, and I heard her say it to Jim, we should be for Biden. And she's an incredible woman. I'll speak about her a little bit. But, you know, not only did we win, I think we won every single district. And I just want you to know it matters. And Jim's saying to you, you know, if you don't succeed at first, try again. Well, a lot of you have already figured out that you can do anything you want to do if you set your mind to it. But one of the things that most people don't focus on anymore is there an awful lot of people like Jim, like me, like Ms. Emily, like a lot of you, who know and expect it
to do something significant. I come from a family raised in a 3-bedroom split-level home with 4 kids, a dad, mom, and a grandpa. We were fine, don't get me wrong. We weren't up by our bootstraps, but we were, I guess, technically low middle class economically. And I used to stutter really badly. And stuttering is the only thing everybody can still laugh like hell at, but it's devastating to a stutterer. If you ever saw the King's Speech, it's worth seeing. And I had trouble talking until I was well into high school. And what I was convinced that my mother would say, never bend, never bow, never kneel, never give up. Just get up. Just get up. And that's one of the things I like so much about HBCUs, which I've been part of for a long, long time. The reason I got elected in 1972 was because of an HBCU called Delaware State University. They organized for me. So, folks, you're inheriting an incredible tradition graduating from this university. On Inauguration Day, I placed my hand on the Bible and looked out toward the National Mall, and what I see? I saw a South Carolina State baseball cap. Oh no, not kidding, not kidding. Talking to 2 former presidents, Clinton and Bush. Today I look out and I see Jim in his South Carolina State cap and gown. Jim, I'm honored you asked me to be here. And as you receive your diploma, you earned 60 years ago, never got a chance to receive it in person. You know, I know this, that Miss Emily's here. Her spirit and the students are here today. Students on scholarship in her name. Students in the Honors College in her name. And she is always in our hearts. She was a genuine gift, a dear friend to Jill and me, and a great American. And she loved this institution. She loved this institution. Thank you, President Conyers, the Board of Trustees, the faculty, staff at one of our nation's great universities. Though I'm from Delaware, I've got to put Delaware State up there. The president of Delaware State used to work for me, went and got his doctorate and said, this is not the good job, I'm going to be president of the university. But all kidding aside, of course, President Harris is a proud Howard alum. She might have something to say about Delaware State. And to my family and friends, the class of 2021, I know the pride you feel for this day as well. Graduates, you already did this because Jim did it, but I always do it, and Jim, as usual, always is ahead of me. You really do owe those folks up in the bleachers a whole hell of a lot. A whole heck of a lot. And I'm sure not a one turned to his husband or wife and said, guess what, no tuition next semester. But I just want to say to the parents, we know, like my family, know the sacrifices you made to make sure this day arrived. And you're the ones that helped you get through this period, and you got a lot to look forward to. Graduates, I know you've already stood to thank your parents and your families, but you know, the fact is that congratulations, you earned it. You earned every bit of it. I know it wasn't easy. Remote learning, fearing getting sick from COVID-19, feeling the pain for those who lost loved ones, and you know people who've lost loved ones. The uncertainty of a devastated economy, the reckoning on race not seen since the 50s and 60s. Your time here has come during a tumultuous and consequential moment in modern American history, and has led you to graduate at a real inflection point in history. No graduating class gets to choose the world into which they graduate. Every class enters the history of the nation up to the point that has been written by others. but few classes, every once in a few generations, enter at a point in American history where it actually has a chance to change the trajectory of the country. And that's not hyperbole. You face that inflection point today, and I'm confident you'll meet the moment. You're ready because you're part of a proud and sacred tradition, an HBCU tradition, more than 180 years of excellence, institutions that instill a sense of purpose and commitment to make a difference in all their students, not just to lift up yourselves, but to lift up others. An institution grounded in the belief that every American, of every race, background, and zip code, should have a fair and equal chance to get as far as their God-given talents give them. Incubators of scholars and educators, advocates and athletes, leaders of industry and entertainment, faith in medicine, arts and science, the molders of trailblazers, visionaries, and public servants. You know it. You know it better than anyone. HBCUs have helped produce 40% of all the black engineers in America. 50% of all the black lawyers in America. 70% of all the black doctors and dentists in America. And 80% of all the black judges in America. Folks, I see HBCU excellence every single day in my administration, and I'm not exaggerating. Vice President Harris, my cabinet, Michael Reagan, Administrator of the EPA, senior White House staff across my entire administration, graduates, I'm here to congratulate you, but also to let you know that your country, this is not hyperbole, is counting on you. They're counting on you to turn the dial at a moment we have a chance to do it. And that I'm committed to doing everything I can to make real the promise of America for all Americans, for all of you. That's why my administration has delivered $5 billion so far to HBCUs just this year. Just this year. And more to come. Because there's nothing you're unable to do if you have the product. If you have the laboratories, if you have, well, a lot of these HBCUs aren't endowed like these other universities. For South Carolina State, it helped to help clear the balances of more than 2,500 students in student debt. It helps students weather financial hardships caused by the pandemic and stay in school. It financed the Residence Hall, the largest in South Carolina. And that's why we're working to increase, and we will get it done with Jim's help in the House. Pell Grants by another $1,500, so particularly black students and lower income families can attend community college, four-year schools, and black universities, HBCUs. That's why I'm proposing a historic investment to create and expand HBCU programs in high-demand fields like cybersecurity, engineering, and healthcare. These are the big-paying jobs getting out now. But too many HBCUs don't have the laboratories, don't have the capacity. They have the intelligence, they have the intellectual capacity, but they don't have the research dilemma in front of them. We're going to create new research and development labs to prepare students for jobs in the future and establish HBCU research hubs all across this nation. I also reestablished the President's Board of Advisors on HBCUs, led by a friend of mine, Dr. Tony Allen, President of Delaware State University. As I said, used to work at my staff to engage the private sector to advance HBCUs. It's beginning to happen. I think your president will tell you. Vice President Harris is in constant contact with leaders of the Divine Nine. I signed an executive order to advance HBCU excellence across the administration in everything from policies to funding. And part of that effort includes recognizing outstanding HBCU student scholars, like your student government president we just heard from, Giovanni. Congratulations. But there's always more we can do. We're going to lead the way just as Jim has led the way. What makes Jim so effective as the highest ranking Southern African American ever in the House of Representatives is Jim never forgets where he came from. Don't you ever forget where you came from. That's your secret power. You understand? There's no one more effective who knows how to get things done than someone who understands the need to get things done and the people who need it. I mean it. Who understands what folks are going through. That's Jim, and that's many of you, and that was me graduating years ago. With the infrastructure law we just wrote and signed into law, and that Jim did so much to pass, we're going to create better jobs for millions of people to rebuild our roads, highways, bridges, cities, small towns, rural communities. It means more opportunities for black businessmen, black contractors, black engineers, building black communities back to where they have to be. And I mean it. So if you don't know the community, it's hard to know what it needs. It means every American, every child being able to turn on a faucet and drink clean water because we're going to rip up every lead pipe in America. It's something that Jim has really championed. It means everyone should be able to access high-speed internet, urban, suburban, rural. Graduates, you lived it. No student should have to go to a coffee shop or a fast food restaurant to get the internet so they can do their homework. We're going to make sure it never happens again. This is the United States of America, for God's sake. And criminal justice reform, we need it from top to bottom. I believe we need judges who understand the experience of the people where they come from. That's why I'm proud I appointed more black women to the federal bench and the circuit courts and more former public defenders to the bench than any administration in American history. The previous record was 3 black women in 8 years. We've confirmed 4 in less than 8 months, and there's more we can do. There will be lawyers and judges who will be in charge, who understand real people and the needs of people. On police reform, I share the frustration. And I know the family well, George Family Justice Act and Policing Act. I know the family well. It's not been passed in the Senate. But the fight's not over. Despite Republican obstructionism in this bill, we've made changes to the federal law enforcement policies that I have the ability to do with the stroke of a pen. The Justice Department has banned chokeholds, restricted no-knock warrants, required federal agents to wear and activate body cameras. It also ending the Justice Department's use of private prisons, rescinding previous administration requirements that U.S. attorneys seek the harshest penalties. The Justice Department has opened a pattern and practice investigation into systemic misconduct of police departments in Phoenix, Louisville, Minneapolis, Mount Vernon, New York. But we're just getting started. This administration is going to continue to fight for meaningful police reform in Congress and through additional executive actions. And you will be our next generation of elected officials, police chiefs, civil rights leaders, leading the way. See what just happened in New York City? First black woman head of the police department. My American Rescue Plan was passed right after historic investment in community policing and violence intervention programs that are shown to reduce violent crime as much as 60%. We don't have to spend less money, we have to spend more money in police to give them the kind of help they genuinely need. Why is a police officer showing up to the suicide threat, someone trying to jump off a building? We need more social workers there. We need more psychologists there. They need help. They're basically good people, prevent violence in the first place. We're expanding summer programs and job opportunities and other services to keep young people safe and set them up for success. We're helping formerly incarcerated people re-enter their communities. Somebody gets out of jail now after serving their time. What do they get? They get a bus ticket and $25, and they end up under the same bridge that got them there in the first place. So I'm going forward to make sure that everything that's available to anybody else is available to them, notwithstanding the fact they had already served their time. We're going to reinstate access to Pell Grants, job training, apprenticeships, proven pathways to a better life. We need you. We need you to lead a lot of these efforts. We're also working to stem the flow of firearms and rogue gun dealers, the current epidemics of gun violence in this country. No greater victims than the black communities. We talk about these massive shootings. Well, guess what? There's a massive shooting every day in urban America. The number of lives that are taken. But you'll lead the way as community leaders, educators, faith leaders, nonprofit leaders. So my daughter's doing right now, she's a social worker. She's heading up boys and girls clubs all across the country. You got to give people alternatives. You got to give them a reason to think they can make it. We're also going to use the federal government's purchasing power to unlock billions of dollars in new opportunities for devastated small businesses, including minority-owned small businesses, to access government contracts. The goal I've set is 50% increase in the number of minority contracts going to minority firms by the year 2025. Because folks, what did we learn? We learned there's no difference between a black entrepreneur and a white entrepreneur in success, except the black entrepreneur usually doesn't have a lawyer. Usually doesn't have someone who is going to be there, an accountant, to get it all set up. Their idea is as profound. But the help is missing. You'll be the entrepreneurs and business owners accessing that opportunity and reinvesting in your communities. On housing, it isn't right. If a builder goes out and builds the exact same home in two different sides of an interstate, one in an all-white neighborhood and one in an all-black neighborhood, same exact home, the moment the last screw or bolt was put into that home and somebody occupies it, the black home is worth 20% less than the white home. The moment. You live in a black community, you have a better driving record, someone lives in an all-white community. Same automobile, your insurance is going to be higher. It isn't right. That home owned by a black family is appraised at a lower rate. At the same time, the home owned by the white family is raised more. We're aggressively taking on housing discrimination. How do folks make it to the middle class from working class circumstances? And many of you have done that. Many of your parents have. You build equity in your home. That's how 90% of the folks make it to the middle class. They get an opportunity to own a home and they build equity in a home. Allows them to borrow against later, to send their kids to school, to do a whole range of things. And you're going to be the ones having to lead the way, not the ones just benefiting. You're the ones that have to lead the way because you understand. Maybe most important of all, we have to protect that sacred right to vote, for God's sake. Think about it. I got started in politics because of the civil rights movement. I noticed some of you were looking at it. I thought you were wondering, how does he know the black national anthem? Well, because I sat in a black church after going to 7 o'clock mass. I'm happen to be a practicing Catholic. At 10 o'clock on the east side, getting ready to go out and desegregate restaurants and movie theaters in my state. Well, guess what? I've never seen anything like the unrelenting assault on the right to vote. Never. I don't think any of you have on this stage ever seen it. Not a joke. And folks, as John Lewis said, it is the only, without the right to vote, there is no democracy. It's not just about who gets to vote or making it easier, as we used to try to do to make people eligible to be able to vote. It's about who gets to count the vote, whether your vote counts at all. Folks, I was chairman of the Judiciary Committee for a long time. At the end of my stint, before I became vice president, I was able to pass the extension of the Voting Rights Act for 25 years, and guess what? And convinced Strom Thurmond of South Carolina to vote for it. No, not a joke. I thought we're finally beginning to move. But this new sinister combination of voter suppression and election subversion It's un-American. It's undemocratic, and sadly, it is unprecedented since Reconstruction. Vice President Harris is leading the efforts for us, but on the anniversary of Bloody Sunday, I directed every single federal agency in the United States government to promote access to voting, and each agency is heading and heeding the call. For example, the Department of Veterans Affairs is going to make it easier for veterans and their families to register to vote. You know why? Because we're going to use VA facilities, and they're going to open them up for everybody, and nobody's going to stop anybody. But across the board, in addition, the Justice Department, my Justice Department has doubled the voting rights enforcement staff, challenging the onslaught of state laws undermining the right to vote. We've supported Democrats fighting for voting rights bills since day one of our administration, making sure that we have unanimous support among Democrats in the Senate, which we do. But each and every time it gets to be brought up, that other team blocks the ability even to start to discuss it. That other team. It used to be called the Republican Party. But this battle's not over. We must pass the Freedom to Vote Act and the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. We must. We're going to keep up the fight until we get it done, and you're going to keep up the fight, and we need your help badly. And finally, we continue to confront the oldest and darkest forces in this nation, hate and racism. You know, there's a through line from Owensboro massacre that happened 53 years ago that killed 3 students for whom this very area, this very arena is named, to darkness that pierced the grace of Mother Emanuel Church in Charleston, which I visited right afterwards 6 years ago, to the torches, those you ever think you'd see in the modern times, people coming out of the fields down in in Charlotte, Virginia, Charlottesville, Virginia, carrying torches and Nazi banners, screeching most anti-Semitic and anti-black rhetoric in history. Hundreds and hundreds of them. And when asked, the guy who had this job before, when asked what he thought about it, he said, well, there's some very good people there. Hell, very good people. They're racist, they're fascist. And folks, that was 4 years ago. I never thought I'd see that in my career. The violent and deadly insurrection on Capitol Hill 11 months ago, on January the 6th. I'm going to say something self-serving. I'm supposed to know an awful lot about foreign policy. I've known every major world leader in the last 40 years. I've spoken to over 140 heads of state since I've become president. You know what they'll all ask me? Is America going to be all right? What about democracy in America? Did you ever think you'd be asked that question by another leader? I'm not exaggerating, gentlemen. Leader of China, Xi Jinping, who I've met with more than any other world leader, and Putin, both are very straightforward. Say democracies can't function in the 21st century because things are too complicated. They move too fast in time to get a consensus which democracies require. That's why autocracies will rule the day. Folks, this is a troublesome time, but it's a significant opportunity. Jim and I have engaged in civil rights work for our entire careers, him more consequential than me. Despite all the laws enacted through the struggles we knew we could make progress. But one of the things I thought, and Jim probably didn't, but I thought, Jim, I thought when we had some of those major victories, we'd finally crossed the threshold. But what I didn't realize is you can defeat hate, but you can't eliminate it. It just slides back under a rock. And when given oxygen by political leaders, it comes out ugly and mean as it was before. We can't give it any oxygen. We have to step on it. We have to respond to it. It's not who we are. It's a minority, but if the majority doesn't speak up, it has a profound impact. That's what we've seen the last few years. We must not give hate any safe harbor. We have to shine as bright as light as we can on it. That's the ultimate disinfectant. Call it out. And you're going to be the light. You're going to have to be the light. Let me close with this. The history of the journey of America, progress and possibilities, is written by people who sat where you're sitting right now. Again, not hyperbole, it's a fact. People like Jim and Emily Clyburn, students who met in a jail cell after standing up for what was right and just, who never stopped. In 1961, they were you. Now in 2021, you are them. You're part of one of the most gifted. This, again, is not hyperbole. Listen to me, and I'm being precise. You're part of the most gifted, tolerant, talented, and the single best educated generation in all of American history. You are. But with that comes a hell of an obligation. You accept people as they are: black, white, Latino, Asian, Native American, gay, straight, transgender, abled and disabled. You see them as people, as fellow Americans who deserve respect and dignity. You're going to see more change in the next 10 years than we've seen in the last 50 because of the incredible change in science and technology. You're going to see us traveling commercially in the next 20 years at 12, 15,000 miles an hour. Subsonic speeds, supersonic speed. I mean, the things that are going to change. But it's required the educated population you represent to understand it, to translate it, to move it. I have every confidence that no matter your career, you're going to translate change into greater opportunity and happiness and prosperity for you and the world around you. When I looked out on Inauguration Day, I saw that South Carolina baseball cap that I saw. Well, your hope and your optimism. That's why I asked a 22-year-old Amanda Gorman, the youngest inaugural poet in history, to read her poem. As a matter of fact, my professor wife, Jill, we're still teaching full-time, found her and asked her to speak. And here's what she said in her poem. So while once we asked, how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe? Now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? We'll not march back to what was, but move on to what shall be. A country that is bruised but whole, benevolent but bold, and fierce and free. That's who we are. That's who you are, the class of 2021. I'm not joking. That's us. That's America. We face that inflection point that's going to change the course of history, and I'm counting on you to meet the moment. It's an enormous opportunity, because I truly believe someone standing at a podium like this at this university 40 years from now is going to be talking about, did we meet the moment? This moment. Just like there's other moments in our history. Did we meet the moment in World War I? Did we meet the moment? And we go down the list. It's going to determine what happens in the next 5 to 10 years. It's going to determine what it's going to look like 50 years from now. I'm counting on you. I really am. I'm not kicking off the responsibility, but I'm counting on you. Congratulations to all of you. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. I say to the military, God bless you all, and may God protect our troops, fellows and ladies.
President Conyers, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to present the candidate for the honorary degree.
Many thanks to you, President Biden, for sharing this very special occasion with South Carolina State University. Thank you for your remarks of encouragement and challenge to our graduates. And I can assure you that the graduates before you this morning will meet the moment. And for your leadership and dedication to our nation. Chairman Jenkins, please come forward. It is a great honor for the university to confer honorary doctorates upon individuals who have made significant contributions in various arenas. This morning, upon the recommendation of the Honorary Degrees Committee, the Board of Trustees has approved the 46th President of these United States, Joseph R. Biden, Jr., to receive this prestigious honor. By virtue of authority vested in me by the state of South Carolina, I hereby confer upon you the degree for which you have been recommended, the Honorary Doctor of Humane Letters, with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereof. Congressman Clyburn, please escort President Biden to the center of the stage. Congratulations, President Bulldog Biden.
The conferring of the degrees. Will all candidates for Doctor of Education, Education Specialist, Master of Business Administration, Master of Arts, Master of Education, the Master of Science degrees, please stand and remain standing. Will the candidates for the Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Social Work degrees also stand? President Conyers, these candidates have satisfactorily completed all the requirements for graduation. They have been approved by the faculty and the Board of Trustees. It is now my pleasure to present them to you for the conferring of their degrees.
By the virtue of authority vested in me by the state of South Carolina and the Board of Trustees, I hereby confer upon each of you the degree for which you have been recommended, with all the rights and privileges appertaining thereto.
Will the candidates please be seated?
Today is a special day in the history of South Carolina State University. I'm pleased to recognize our ceremonial graduate, our very own James E. Clyburn. In 1961, Congressman Clyburn earned a Bachelor of Science degree in history from South Carolina State University. At that time, the university was not allowed to conduct December commencement, and Congressman Clyburn received his degree in the mail while already starting his teaching career. I am pleased today, 60 years later, that Congressman Clyburn will walk across the commencement stage. Chairman Jenkins and President Biden, please come forward.
Bachelor of Science, History, James E. Clyburn. Summa Magna Congressional Cum Laude.
President Conyers, it is now my pleasure to present to you the deans of the various colleges who will assist you with awarding the degrees. Deans, please stand when your names are called. I am Frederick Evans, Acting Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs and Dean of the College of Graduate and Professional Studies. Dr. Barbara Adams, Dean of the College of Business and Information Systems. Dr. M. Evelyn Fields, Acting Dean, College of Education, Humanities, and Social Sciences. Dr. Stanley Hekwazu, Dean, College of Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics, and Transportation. Dr. William Whitaker, Acting Dean of the College of Agricultural, Family, and Consumer Sciences. Will all candidates for doctoral degrees in the College of Education, Humanities, and Social Sciences please stand and remain standing? Graduates, please come forward to receive your diplomas. Professor Ursula Robinson, Professor of Drama, will read the names.
Doctor of Education, Monique Clarissa Armstrong. Advisor, Dr. Inkate Inject. Rajesh Bala, Dr. Percy Mack, Advisor. Stephanie Harrison, Dr. Michael Boatwright, Advisor. Author Karen McClendon, Dr. Percy Mack, Advisor. Shanita Dawn Shaw Moore, Dr. Louise Allen, Advisor. Philando Jermaine Tullock, Dr. Inkate Inject, Advisor. Kendra G. Waring, Dr. Louise Allen, Advisor. Will Dr. Armstrong, Dr. Bela, Dr. Harrison, Dr. McClendon, Dr. Moore, Dr. Reed, Dr. Tullock, and Dr. Waring please be seated?
Will all candidates for educational specialists and master's degrees in the College of Graduate and Professional Studies, the College of Education, Humanities and Social Sciences, the College of Business and Information Systems, the College of Science and Mathematics, Engineering, Technology and Transportation, please stand and remain standing. Graduates, please come forward to receive your diplomas.
Educational Specialist, Angela G. Brown. Master of Arts, Rehabilitation Counseling, Shonda L. Williams Robinson. Alea Drayton. Robert O. Flint, Jr. Raven Joseph. Shantae D. McLeese. Vanessa Elmore Williams. Sabria Joanna Brown. Master of Arts, Speech Pathology and Audiology, Tamara Octavia Fields. Kashara M. Givens. Adriana Chanel Myers. Master of Education, Counselor Education, Maya Godwin. Crystal Aaliyah Jenkins. Will the graduates please be seated?
Will all candidates for bachelor's degrees in the College of Graduate and Professional Studies please stand and remain standing? I know I have more graduates than that. Thank you. Please come forward to receive your diplomas. Professor Robinson will read the names of these graduates.
Bachelor of Arts, Speech Pathology and Audiology. Adia Ariane Brown, cum laude. Dearica Yvette Hubbard, cum laude. Jordan Faith Kinsey. Shamaya Nicole Mitchell, cum laude. Bachelor of Science, Criminal Justice, Jordan Chandler Fullwood. Jalen Raquan Jenkins, magna cum laude. Jamaica Faith Lewis. Justin Kayvon Riley. China Tajane Robinson. Jessica Lee Raven Williams, cum laude. Bachelor of Science, Physical Education, Activity Management, Elena Nicole Belton, cum laude. Bachelor of Science, Physical Education, Health Education Services, Bernard Connor Harkness. Tyrese Nick. Physical Education, Health Education Services, Calvin Tyrese Walker, cum laude. Gerard R. McDowell. Savion Lavare Wilson, cum laude. Bachelor of Science, Physical Education, Applied Exercise Science, Kyla Elise Dobson, cum laude. Will the graduates please be seated?
Will all candidates for bachelor degrees in the College of Business and Information Systems please stand and come forward?
Bachelor of Science, Accounting, Jordan Stefan Creech, cum laude. Natalie Adele Hill. Bachelor of Science, Business Economics, Michael Adrian Lyons. Bachelor of Science, Management, Henry Paul Campbell III. Bachelor of Science, Marketing, Chad Everett Gilchrist Jr. Seth R. Harling. Brianna Natasha Magna, cum laude. Alan Ryans. Will the graduates please be seated?
Will all candidates for bachelor's degrees in the College of Education, Humanities, and Social Sciences please stand and come forward? Professor Ursula Robinson will call the names.
Bachelor of Arts, Communications Broadcasting, Keandra Amira McCrae, magna cum laude. Dalia Unique Stroman. Ashley Maria Thompson, cum laude. Bachelor of Arts, Drama, Antoinette Anastasia Lambright. Daria A. Wilson. Bachelor of Science, Elementary Early Childhood Education, Charla T. Jett. Bachelor of Science, Elementary Education, Kanata Brooke Watson. Danielle Soraya Berry, summa cum laude. Danielle Soraya Berry, summa cum laude. Bachelor of Arts, Sociology, Naya Omega Simmons, cum laude. Bachelor of Arts, Studio Art, Jaquez T. Bachelor of Science, Psychology, Jasmine Kiera Brown. Destiny M. Clea. Royal Marie Clemence. Saxophone Fall, summa cum laude. Jayla Emerald Alton, cum laude. Diamond Rush, magna cum laude. Adriana Monique Sanders.
Will the graduates please be seated?
Will all candidates for bachelor degrees in the College of Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics, and Transportation please stand and come forward? Professor Robinson will read the names.
Bachelor of Science Biology, Zanab Bindahau, cum laude. Evian Nigel Funny. Wesleisha Hackett. Sanaya Renee Hamilton. Caitlin Victoria Reese. Nyasia Monet Imani Smiley, cum laude. Shamaya Monet Sowells. Zakia N. Walker, summa cum laude. Sydney Nicole Young, magna cum laude. Roderick Eric Bishop, summa cum laude. Bachelor of Science, Electrical Engineering Technology, Jason Lamont Hunter. Bachelor of Science, Industrial Engineering Technology, Shaquelle D. Manigault. Bachelor of Science, Mechanical Engineering Technology, Jermaine Davis, Jr. Woodrow Moses, Jr., cum laude. Gregory Latrez Watkins Pinckney, cum laude. Kashana Rooks. Baquelia Katera Scott. Joshua Amari Williams. Chyanthony Annette Huff, magna cum laude. Gabriel Laverne Thomas.
Will the graduates please be seated?
Will all graduates for bachelor's degrees in the College of Agriculture, Family, and Consumer Sciences please stand and come forward? Professor Ursula Robinson will read the names.
Bachelor of Science, Family and Consumer Sciences. Shafari Nael Alexander, summa cum laude. Kenya Denise Bellamy. Andrea Sherelle Boylan, cum laude. Michael Cooper. Tyra J.M. Luckett, summa cum laude. Darika Shamaya Niels, cum laude. Rutha Mae L. Randolph, cum laude. Felicia Span. Deanne Lachey Walthour. Deanne Lachey Walthour. Sharonda Denise Williams Davis.
Will the graduates please be seated? Thank you.
Okay? At this time, we will have a selection by our South Carolina State Choral Ensemble.
Christmas is coming, let the church bells ring. People celebrating the birth of a king. Shouting Hosanna till the heavens ring. Christmas is coming, let the church bells ring. Christmas is coming, Mary's baby boy, bringing us a message of comfort and joy. Glory, hallelujah, what a wonderful King. Christmas is coming, let the church bells ring. Glory fill the heavens, music fill the night. Shepherds heard the angels sing, wise men saw the light. Christmas is coming, let the church bells ring. People celebrating the birth of a king. Shouting Hosanna till the heavens ring. Christmas is coming, let the church bells ring. Oh come, Emmanuel, and ransom captive Israel that mourns in lonely exile here until the Son of God appears. Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel shall come to thee, O Israel. Glory fill the heavens, music fill the night. Shepherds heard the angels sing, wise men saw the light. Christmas is coming, let the church bells ring. People celebrating the birth of a king. Shouting Hosanna till the heavens ring. Christmas is coming, let the church bells ring. Let the church bells ring. Let the church bells ring.
Thank you so much, Dr. Dingle, you and your wonderful choral ensemble. Now, this is the moment we've been waiting for. At this time, will the class of 2021 please stand? Bulldog graduates, please turn your tassels to the left. Congratulations, and we are so proud of you. Please be seated. just a couple of recognitions before our VIPs depart the arena. In August 2019, South Carolina State University alumnus, U.S. Congressman and Majority Whip James E. Clyburn and the late Dr. Emily England Clyburn announced their donation of $1.7 million for the establishment of an endowed scholarship for our Honors College. In September 2019, the South Carolina State Board of Trustees voted unanimously to rename the Honors College in memory of Dr. Emily England Clyburn. It is my privilege to now recognizing all graduating 2021 seniors who held membership in the Dr. Emily England Clyburn's Honors College. Please stand and be recognized for your commitment to excellence. Again, Congressman, thank you so much for what you have done for this university time and time again, above and beyond, and we are forever indebted to you. At this time, our VIPs will depart, and we will continue with just a few more recognitions and our induction into the National Alumni Association.
Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see there, South Carolina State University continuing with their class of 2021 graduation, but the President of the United States, Joe Biden, and 6th District Congressman James Clyburn, who after 60 years had the chance to walk across the stage, are now leaving. Again, this has been an incredible day for graduates, for alumni, for those who are supporters of South Carolina State University to have a sitting president as their commencement speaker today. If history is any indicator of how things have gone, we have done our research, and we believe that this is the first time that a sitting president has been the commencement speaker of South Carolina State University. And with that being said, the President of the United States receiving an honorary doctorate this morning from the university, receiving that honorary doctorate of humane letters. News 19's Whitney Sullivan is on the campus of South Carolina State University. She has been there all morning. Whitney, we're going to begin our team coverage with you this morning.
Well, thank you so much, Darcy. And as you said, this is a huge moment for South Carolina State University, but not only the graduates here and the South Carolina State employees, but also for the community of Orangeburg. Everybody here has been so excited, and that excitement continues even though that ceremony is over now. Right now, I'm standing next to the library, and as you can see, security is still tight, and that's because the president is still on campus. But we do know that they're going to start to dismiss soon, and what we're hoping to see is maybe that motorcade come through with the president as well. But right now we're seeing people kind of trickle out of where the Smith-Hammond Middleton Memorial Center, where that ceremony is taking place. But on campus right now, it is extremely calm. It's quiet, and that's because all the activity again is happening inside of that Memorial Center. But we do know that things will pick back up outside on campus once everybody is released from that Memorial Center. Now, for folks who are traveling in and around Orangeburg, please be aware of the fact that traffic might be just a little congested as people are leaving this area. So make sure that if you are going to be here, you are aware of that. But again, I can tell you, even just standing outside of here, the pride, the excitement of what is taking place today. We're going to send things back to you, Darcy.
Whitney Sullivan, thank you so much. Initially, when we received the president's agenda, it said that he would not be leaving Orangeburg until 12:55. That's in about an hour. So we know that he's left the stage. We don't know if he's left the Smith-Hammond Memorial Center just yet, waiting to hear more from the White House on next steps for the president. But we know his morning started very early this morning, leaving the White House at 6:50 this morning, headed to Columbia first, and then from there he was supposed to take Marine One into Orangeburg, but we've had a tremendous amount of cloud cover and fog in the area And because of that, that Marine One flight was canceled, and then the president was in a motorcade that came from Columbia to Orangeburg. So we'll see what the next steps are for the president. President Biden, in his commencement speech, addressed hate and discrimination. He also spoke to the graduates about the things that he's seen in our country throughout recent years. He said he realized one important thing: in order to make sure these issues never go, make sure that these issues go away.
You can defeat hate, but you can't eliminate it. It just slides back under a rock. And when given oxygen by political leaders, it comes out ugly and mean as it was before. We can't give it any oxygen. We have to step on it. We have to respond to it. It's not who we are. It's a minority, but if the majority doesn't speak up, it has a profound impact. That's what we've seen the last few years. We must not give hate any safe harbor.
At the ceremony this morning, President Biden also spoke on the important impact HBCUs have had on America and the workforce.
HBCUs have helped produce 40% of all the black engineers in America. 50%. 50% of all the black lawyers in America. 70% of all the black doctors and dentists in America. And 80% of all the black judges in America.
The president also told the graduates that they are at an important point in history.
But few classes, every once in a few generations, enter at a point in American history where it actually has a chance to change the trajectory of the country. And that's not hyperbole. You face that inflection point today, and I'm confident you'll meet the moment.
President Biden spoke on Clyburn's late wife, Dr. Emily Clyburn, who earned her bachelor's degree at South Carolina State University. Here's what he had to say.
I'm honored you asked me to be here, and as you receive your diploma you earned 60 years ago, never got a chance to receive it in person. You know, I know this, that Miss Emily's here. Her spirit and the students are here today. Students on scholarship in her name. Students in the Honors College in her name. And she is always in our hearts. She was a genuine gift, a dear friend to Jill and me, and a great American. And she loved this institution. She loved this institution.
Again, President Biden speaking of the late wife of Congressman Clyburn, Dr. Emily Clyburn, and her impact not only on South Carolina State University, but the relationship and friendship that they both shared. As we look back over the last several hours, again, as I mentioned just moments ago, the president left the White House very early this morning en route to Columbia, South Carolina. He arrived at the Columbia Metropolitan Airport just before 8:30 this morning. As he arrived, he was greeted by Columbia Mayor Steve Benjamin, the Casey Mayor Elise Parton, West Columbia Mayor Tim Miles, and of course his longtime friend, 6th District Congressman Jim Clyburn. The reason the president is in Columbia today is because the invitation was extended to him through Congressman Clyburn to be the commencement speaker at South Carolina State University today for the class of 2021. A very special day for Clyburn as he was able to finally, after 6 decades, walk across the stage and receive his degree. For those of you who haven't been following this story all week, when I interviewed Congressman Clyburn earlier this week, he told me that when he graduated from South Carolina State University 60 years ago, state law only allowed South Carolina State University to have one commencement, one graduation a year. That was in the spring. He was able to get the degree and turn his tassel today after 6 decades. Here's what he tweeted out not too long ago. Today means a great deal to me. I'm honored to welcome the President of the United States back to South Carolina to speak at the South Carolina State University commencement, where I'll finally have the opportunity to walk across the graduation stage. Again, that tweet from 6th District Congressman James Clyburn today. We know Congressman Clyburn is going to be in Maysville later today as there is going to be a ceremony to recognize Mary McLeod Bethune, the work that she has done, and the fact that the state of Florida will now be putting her statue in the state capitol. As we heard from Congressman Clyburn just a few moments ago, there is a lot of history that goes into what makes South Carolina State University an incredible school. Let's listen in.
But I had something else in mind. And I went to my friend, Cedric Richmond, who is here today, with whom I'd served in Congress, and I told Cedric, I said, Cedric, I'm going to be marching the class of 2021 to get my diploma, which I never got. Now, I want you to help me get the speaker for the commencement. I didn't tell him that I had already agreed to do it. I said, I think it would be great for me to get my degree from the President of the United States, Joe Biden.
For those of you who are familiar with the campus of South Carolina State University, you know the graduation ceremony is being held today in the Smith Hammond Middleton Memorial Center. A large stage has been put up with an additional 800 chairs added to the floor for guests. The building is a 3,200-seat arena, normally home to the men and women's basketball teams. It was built in 1968 and named in honor of Henry Smith, Samuel Hammond, and Delano Middleton, 3 students killed on February 8, 1968, while pursuing dignity during the civil rights movement. There's an NCAA regulation hardwood court and 3 dressing rooms on the lower concourse of that building. A small training room is next to the court. Press facilities and dressing rooms for visiting teams are on the upper level. Recently, the university renovated the court and locker rooms along with media accommodations and added a new scoreboard. Stay with us. We've got more on the president's trip to Orangeburg coming up after this short break. All right, well, instead of taking a break, we're just going to continue with our coverage. Again, we are just a couple of seconds into the noon hour. Your news at noon starts right now. All right, folks, we're going to take a look at the president again at South Carolina State University. We have team coverage starting in Columbia, where we were there as the president and Air Force Sullivan is on the campus of South Carolina State University as well. And then we have team coverage from Nijah Hood, who has also spoken with folks in the community about what the impact of having the president in Orangeburg today means to them. Just moments ago, the president wrapping up his remarks to the graduating class of 2021. We're going to take now a listen at what the president had to say to the graduates.
Every once in a few generations, enter at a point in American history where it actually has a chance to change the trajectory of the country. And that's not hyperbole. You face that inflection point today, and I'm confident you'll meet the moment. You're ready because you're part of a proud and sacred tradition, an HBCU tradition, more than 180 years of excellence, institutions that instill a sense of purpose and commitment to make a difference in all their students, not just to lift up yourselves, but to lift up others. An institution grounded in the belief that every American of every race, background, and zip code should have a fair and equal chance to get as far as their God-given talents give them. Incubators of scholars and educators, advocates and athletes, leaders of industry and entertainment, faith and medicine, arts and science, the molders of trailblazers, visionaries, and public servants. You know it. You know it better than anyone. HBCUs have helped produce 40% of all the black engineers in America. 50% of all the black lawyers in America. 70% of all the black doctors and dentists in America. And 80% of all the black judges in America.
Whitney Sullivan is on South Carolina State's campus right now with more on the president's visit and Clyburn's graduation day. Whitney, what have you seen so far?
Oh, well, it's been a very exciting day. I can tell you this, Darcy. I know that it's gloomy outside. However, spirits are bright. Like I've been saying all morning and going into this afternoon, you can feel the pride. The excitement is palpable on this campus, even as I am standing outside on campus while things are happening inside the Smith Hammond Middleton Memorial Center. You can just tell that people are so excited, not only because they are proud of the accomplishments of these December 2021 graduates, but also because the president delivered the commencement address. But also something to note that has been so historic, a monumental moment, is to watch 6th District Congressman Clyburn finally get the opportunity to walk across that stage. Now, Darcy, you've broken this down so well about what happened. He completed his coursework in December of 1961, but they did not allow South Carolina State University the opportunity to have 2 graduation ceremonies in a year. And so he has not been able to turn his tassel until now. Now, he was also able to walk across the stage and give words of encouragement to the graduating class of 2021, and we want to share some of those words with you now.
Jim, I'm honored you asked me to be here, and as you receive your diploma you earned 60 years ago, but never got a chance to receive it in person. You know, I know this, that Miss Emily's here. Her spirit and the students are here today. Students on scholarship in her name. Students in the Honors College in her name. And she is always in our hearts. She was a genuine gift, a dear friend to Jill and me, and a great American. And she loved this institution. She loved this institution.
Well, those are remarks from President Biden, but I want to read something from Congressman Clyburn that he said to the graduates that I think is so touching. He said, "No matter how many times you attempt, you keep trying until you get it right. Don't give up." And Congressman Clyburn's life and the work that he has done is absolutely a testament to that. So it has been beautiful to be able to watch him receive that diploma, that opportunity to finally walk across the stage. Now, in regards to what things are going to look like here on campus, as you can see, it is very, very calm. But we know as soon as they release those graduates, it's going to look like a different story outside of here. You can see that security is still very tight. So any of my friends who are going to be in the Orangeburg area, make sure to be aware of the fact that when they do release everyone, be prepared for a little bit of congestion. We talked to officials earlier in the week who said that is something that you do need to know if you're going to be in this area when they release the graduates. But right now, we want to send things back to you in the studio, reporting live on South Carolina State University's campus, Whitney Sullivan.
Whitney, thank you so much. And of course, as Whitney just mentioned, she is outside of the building where the ceremony is being conducted. As we go back inside, you can see now that the graduation ceremony has concluded. You can see that folks are filing out of the building. We've already seen the dignitaries and the board of trustees and professors, and now the graduates will be leaving out. Finally, again, a incredible day. Anytime you can walk across the stage and turn your tassel. For those of you who are college graduates, you know what that feels like. And I can't even imagine how more incredible it feels to have the President of the United States, the leader of the free world, to be the person who offers you your words of encouragement as you move into the next season and the next chapter of your life. The President of the United States also receiving an honorary doctorate of humane letters from South Carolina State University, meaning he walked in as President Joe Biden, walks out as Dr. Joe Biden, a South Carolina State University Bulldog right now. He talked in his speech about his dedication, his administration's dedication to HBCU programs, saying that you don't have to look much further than the Vice President of the United States, who is a graduate of Howard University, to see the impact and the importance of these historical institutions. The president also said that it is part of his plan to reestablish and has reestablished the HBCU Board of Advisors. The current president of Delaware State, who was also a staff member for President Biden, is leading that. He touched on community policing and expanding programs to set young people up for success. The president's remarks, approximately 30 minutes. He was introduced, as Whitney mentioned just moments ago, by 6th District Congressman James Clyburn, who said to those graduates 60 years after he graduated to never give up and never be afraid to step outside of your comfort zone. We're going to take a quick break, but coming up after this commercial break, we'll have more on President Biden's visit to Orangeburg.
You know a hometown hero. They're the special people in our community who make a big difference, and WLTX and Hardee's can't wait to celebrate them. Visit Hometown Heroes on WLTX.com and nominate your hometown hero today. Hometown Heroes is sponsored by Hardee's.
Hi, I'm Joe Montana. When you get to be 65, you have little patience for nonsense and inefficiency. You know what works, and you become a pro at pretty much everything.
With the president, we're going to check in with meteorologist Corey Smith. Corey, I see that traffic map behind you.
Yeah, and thankfully nothing too bad on the roads right now. But of course, expect delays as the president does leave Orangeburg. And like Whitney said earlier, some congestion can be expected across Orangeburg and near the university because of all that graduation traffic. We were watching 77 and 26 earlier for closures as the president head out. Expect more of the same areas to be potentially closed slows down for short times as he works back towards the airport. But let's talk about weather as well. A lot of cloud cover in place, and we've been dealing with a very gloomy start today, a lot of mist, and visibility has started to increase at least. So not really dealing with fog, but sitting at 66. So on the cooler side right now, expecting a mild afternoon with maybe some sunshine working into the Midlands. In fact, taking a look at the hour by hour, maybe some mist in some locations, but more clouds than anything. Temperature is getting right around 70 degrees as we head into the afternoon. Overnight, potentially some more fog developing, but we're still very mild for this time of year, right around 60 degrees as we go into the morning. So taking a look at what we can expect for the rest of today, just really clouds with some sunshine working in. Some of our counties like Fairfield, Newberry, and even Saluda already seeing some of that sun right now, and that's going to expand a little bit as we head into the afternoon. Temperature is getting close to 70 degrees across the viewing area. As you go into tomorrow, well, we start off dry, but the chance of rain does build in as we see a lot of moisture moving in off the Gulf of Mexico, and that also means that we're going to see temperatures maybe reach the middle to even upper 70s with some sunshine in the afternoon. But in the evening is when we start to see showers and even some heavy rain moving in as you head into the evening and overnight hours. Some models painting around an inch or more of rain across the Midlands. Some very good rain amounts for us, especially with the drier weather we've been having. And that does continue as you go into your Sunday morning as well, though your Sunday starts to cool down as colder air filters in behind this system, and that continues into next week. So taking a look at the weekend, what we can expect. Well, for the rest of the day, we're cloudy, but that remains the case as we go into your Saturday. 76 degrees your high temperature, with rain mostly coming in the second half of the day. As we go into Sunday, some showers to start off your day, but then we're switching over to cloudy conditions, 65. We see some cooler weather moving in as we head into next week.
Today is National Maple Syrup Day, so join us as we tap into some ideas that we know you're gonna love. Get it? Tap.
My car wreck was bad. I was injured, and I had to deal with the insurance company all on my own. It didn't take me long to realize I needed a lawyer, so I called Shelley Leak.
For years, the people of South Carolina have been counting on me when they're injured in an accident.
Shelley Leak did all of the work
2021 graduation ceremony at South Carolina State University has ended. The President of the United States offering the commencement address today and recognizing his longtime friend and colleague, 6th District Congressman James Clyburn, as he received his degree more than 60 years, I should say, after graduating from the university, having an opportunity to walk across the stage. We'll continue to follow the President's visit on air and online at WL.